Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now, today's episode, we are going to deep dive PNC's new rewards program, PNC Total Rewards. We're going to go through how the program works, how you qualify, most importantly, what it does for the credit cards, and how much you can earn to see if it's worth considering for you. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, of course, we're going to deep dive the program, like I said, in a second, going through the program page together. I'll put some chapters tools down below if you want to bounce around. Starting off, I should say, what is this? Well, all banks like to tell you to come have a relationship with them. And that's really just a nice way of saying, give me more of your money. Ideally, a bank wants to sell you everything. We want you to have a checking account, a savings account, a brokerage, or originate your mortgage here, your refinance, your car loan, on and on. They offer a lot of products. We want all of them. They call that a relationship, right? It's just selling products, right? But every so often, a bank actually tries to make it a two-way relationship beyond just getting the service. And that's to say, give me more of your money and I will give you better rewards. And so this is very similar to a Bank of America's preferred rewards, or Bank of America rewards as it's going by now. I have Bank of America rewards. I've had it for about 4 years now. We've got videos on that on the main channel. I'm going to stay away from comparisons in here, because I think we're going to throw a lot at you about PNC. If some folks want to see a comparison of the relationship banking programs out there, there aren't many, but we can definitely do that as a follow-up. So that is, in a nutshell, what relationship banking is. Now, PNC's is brand new. For the longest time, they've been really more of a regional bank, though I believe you can open their personal accounts anywhere in the country, which is good. And so all of a sudden, they launched their relationship banking piece. Apparently, this had been on development internally with employees, and they finally launched it out. I think it was a Bank of America expat who actually came over to PNC and launched the program. So let's get into it here to start with the qualifiers, the things you need to know before we go over to their website. So as I said, it's PNC Total Rewards. How this works is there are 4 tiers, and the tiers can be based on how much money, see it's going to be a recurring theme, how much money you have with PNC in specific accounts. And of course, how much money you have, which tier you're in, is going to dictate the rewards per product that you get. So the first tier, and again, we're going to deep dive these, but is the everyday tier. It's basically like, I'm a PNC customer, I have $1 in my checking account. Congratulations, you're at the everyday tier. Silver is the next one up. That starts at $25,000 with PNC. Gold is next up. That's $100,000 with PNC. And then Platinum is $500K with PNC. And this is all on the personal side. PNC does offer business products, but I don't believe at the time they're doing any overlap. So you're looking at anything personal products. So what do you have to do here? Well, the only product you have to have is a checking account. They have some options that we'll take a look at. Now, what counts? Well, they offer a lot of different products, and the best I can tell is money in deposit accounts, which would be your checking account, your savings account. IRAs seem to count. There's a lot of different versions of IRAs. I'm talking like traditional IRA and like Roth IRA, both managed and self-managed. Those count, and then CDs as well. There's a full comprehensive list if you're thinking of a specific product, but that's going to be the ones that people are most interested in, because again, you don't want to leave $500,000 in a checking account or even a savings account, really. Most folks are going to want to focus on those IRA pieces. Now, how it works is they're going to take your balance, and it's like over a 90-day moving average, right? So if today you feel very inspired after this video and you move $500,000 to PNC, you're not going to get it on day one. It's like a 90-day average. So once you had that much for 90 days, and they're going to say, okay, now your rewards are unlocked, go crazy. So that's like the basics to keep in mind. So with that, again, we would just go through their actual website here. So start a screen share and pull it up, and again, we'll walk through it. So this is the landing page for PNC Total Rewards. They do have happy people. That's good. Older gentleman telling the young man how to prepare to make maximum money for banks. So this is what we're talking about here. As we said, PNC customer, you can already earn benefits. That's basically what we just tell you about. These are the tiers that you're going to want to start with. So let's start with the everyday benefits tier. You can see not a whole heck of a lot here. So fee benefits for like checking account, for example, if you click that, it just says ATM fees. Pretty much it. Credit card points or cash, get cash rewards on purchases with many. See credit cards. Again, they don't really tell you a ton of stuff, so I will break it down when we get to the credit card section. But again, not a ton of stuff as you would imagine. Now, wealth management, $0 trades, commission-free online trade, which is good. And then you get some discounts on auto loans and home equity, right? So not a whole lot there. But if we move over to the silver tier next, you can see, again, 25,000 to 100,000. Is where it starts. And right now we have expanded benefits. But one thing I clocked when I was going through here, this doesn't really tell you too much. It says expanded benefits, but ATM fee benefits, it doesn't really say much else. And that's what the other one had as well. Savings rate boost, of course, the credit cards is the one the folks are going to want to care about, or probably most people are going to want to care about, at least who watch this. So you're going to get a 5% rewards bonus for your credit cards. There are 2 credit cards that count, so you can see the ones that are not eligible there. But we'll cover credit cards as well. Wealth management. It is important to know, we'll talk about this in the bonus section, but there's a cash bonus when new eligible managed investment accounts. Just keep in mind the difference between managed is PNC does the trading and investing for you, and then they take a fee, a cut of that, if you will. And then of course they have $0 trades, which is everyone's got $0 trades. And as we go along, you're gonna have to figure out what do you think these things are worth. For example, $0 trades. I mean, everyone's should offer $0 trades now, so I'm not really gonna give too much weight to that. And you can see some of these don't really change in this tier, but you do add some stuff. Mortgage, $200 cash reward, for example, on eligible new refinance or mortgage after funding. So good there. And then if you go to gold, gold's probably where the real money is at. $100,000 with them. Again, the fee expanded. It doesn't really do much else, for checking, say, ATM fee benefits, for checking savings accounts. Savings boost goes up a little bit. Credit cards then jumps up to 25%, which is nice. Again, some of this other stuff, the cash bonus, still the same thing, up to 5,000, 20% sweep rate boost on unallocated cash in your investment account. So if you, for whatever reason, you're getting dividends, you're not reinvesting them at the moment, they can sweep it into account. You'll earn something versus just sitting there. Now, here you go. PNC Wealth Management, no annual service fee on eligible brokerage PNC investment accounts. That one's actually an important one because there is, I believe, a $75 fee, annual fee for having one of their brokerage accounts. And if you step up to this tier, well, then you don't have to pay that $75 fee, which is nice. The rest of this, again, you can see mortgage jumps up to $600 cash reward there. And then, of course, platinum tier, the $500,000 and above. Again, savings boost a little bit more, 35% for credit cards, 30% sweep. Again, still no annual service fee. You jump up to $750 cash rewards there as well. So overall, those are the tiers that you have. If you go down through here again, what we said, again, you must have a checking account and enroll once you have your account open. Not a big deal. They have a calculator if you want to play around with it to see what you're going to get as well, and some more Q&As, of course. So that's an overview of the program and what you get. Now, the things people are going to care about, the questions you'd have, I have this other tab here. So we start with products and services and go to checking accounts, because you're going to need a checking account. Now, if you're going to do this, these are your options, and I'm going to go through at the end, like the order of operations that I would go through. The idea, of course, is, you always want to be earning intro offers to open up new accounts. And so you can see Virtual Wallet with Performance Select has a $400 intro offer when you meet the terms. I have a post on this at profitablecontent.com, which the website is linked down below for you. But you can kind of see here, the big thing you're going to check for ideally is the fees, how to avoid the fee, right? Because you're going to have this checking account long term. And that's one thing I didn't see. So we go back to our other page here and we go to expanded fee benefits. It doesn't say that they're waiving the fee on the checking account. Now, I opened this up. We're not going to look through this whole thing, but you can see this is dated August 17th of 2025, which is well before this program launched. So if you look at no monthly service charge, it's not referenced that being a part of Total Rewards and any tier waives the monthly fee. Now, it's possible they just haven't updated this yet, but from what I can tell in the terms, All right, random post edit here. Funny enough, I did find another fee sheet specific to the Total Rewards program. And on here, you got it on screen. It actually does say account opening and usage, monthly service charge on checking, savings, money market accounts. And it has 0 across the board for silver, gold, and platinum. Why they didn't just put that on the main page or updated the link documents or link to this fee sheet, I don't know. But anyways, my apologies to PNC, sort of. They could have made this easier. But you can see the checking accounts, whichever status you're in, will have no fees, which is great. So at that point, you might as well just pick and stick with the account that's offering the $400 promotional offer. All right, back to the show. All right, so the one everyone really wants to talk about is credit cards. And if we let this load in, they have three cards total, but there are 2 that are going to count. So they have the PNC Cash Rewards card. Now this is good because it has a $250 bonus offer when you're opening it after you spend $1,000 in purchase in the first 3 months. It ends $515. It's normally I think $200, but you know that either way it's fine. Though people like this, I like this card. I really do. It's free. You have 4% back on gas, and of course your credit card rewards are going to be applied to that. So I believe at the platinum tier you're looking at 5.4%, and the gold tier you'd be at 5% on gas. I didn't do the calculation for the rest of these because you can do better on all those multipliers on other cards, but we'll talk about that. And then, of course, this one is probably the star of the show. Now, the problem here is they do not have an intro offer for this card. Again, I'm a believer you should always be paid to open up a banking product. But this is what I would call a catch-all card. It just means if you have non-category spend. So if you don't normally do this stuff, a category is gas stations as a category. You're getting 4% back in that category. This is a card you would use if you don't have a better option. And this is where it gets interesting because you'd be at 2.1%, which probably isn't worth much at gold or at silver, 2.5% at gold, and then 2.7% back on everything at platinum. And so that would be interesting. So this is probably the star of the show card to use there. So this card, the spend wise, I mean, it doesn't earn anything anyways, but it doesn't count in the rewards. But again, this is where they're low APR card, so it does not count. You can see this is a secured card, would not count anyway. So those are the 2 cards you're going to want to consider there. So overall, I mean, that's an overview, I guess, of their product pages. Again, you're going to have to decide what these benefits mean to you. For me, I'd be most interested in the credit card benefits overall. Then how do I avoid fees, like the no annual fee for the wealth management, the $0 trade deal? That's what I would be looking at. The rest of this stuff, again, you may or may not be interested in originating mortgages with them. You might want to look elsewhere. Entirely up to you. So if we leave it there and kind of end our screen recording and just kind of talk about that now. So overall, a few things come to mind. Let's talk about the order of this. First of all, if I was going to do it, I would start with opening the checking account, and I would start with that $400 offer. Why? Because again, you don't have to, but I think you should be paid to open up a checking account. So I would start with that offer first. Again, I don't get anything for it, but I have a full blog post about it on my website, linked down below for you. And then after that, I would apply for the credit cards. Now, I believe PNC, again, as I said, they're one that they want you to have an account before you start applying for the cards. We were just on it, but yeah, see, if I go to card details, you can see if you're pre-approved, but you can see there's not an apply button, and normally there's an apply button right in your face. So they really want you to have a checking account first, be a customer, and then I would imagine you can apply. I mean, there's a see if I'm pre-approved option, but I still think to apply, they're going to want you to. It's not that you can't, but they're going to want you to do that. So I would start there. Also, because if you churn accounts a lot, it can be harder to get a PNC account. Not impossible. I do it. Their bonuses are every 2 years that you're eligible again. I just have to go in branch, and you can usually get the account. So once I did that, then I would get the credit card. I would start with the unlimited cash. That's the only one of interest to me. If you're going for $500,000, then I think or you don't want a ton of credit cards, and get both of them. If you have a bunch of credit cards, then The unlimited cash works better because there are better options for gas at 5%, right? There's the AAA travel advantage. You can use a custom cash. You can have multiple custom caches, as many of us have as well. People like the Costco card. Costco is very popular. So that card to me is less important. But again, if you're only going to have 2 or 3 cards, then I do like that card, or you use those, have those options for other things. Then it's not a bad card, but the focus, I think, would be the unlimited cash. And the reason I say do that for second is because, PNC can be a little bit tougher to get approvals. I've gotten approved for one business card, and then I got being denied for the cash rewards back when I tried it, the green one. I applied in branch with the branch manager. It still had to go to back office for review. But again, you might not go through a bunch of credit cards like many of us do here. And once I got the credit card I wanted, then I would move over to the brokerage account. That's going to be the best way to get your money over there. You really don't want to put $25,000, $100,000 in a checking or savings. So if you have an IRA someplace else, you would open the IRA with PNC, and then you would do what's called an ACATS transfer, ACATS, which basically allows you to transfer assets in kind, so you don't have to sell anything, get a check, and that whole thing. They'll just literally transfer it over. The place you're exiting may charge a fee, be aware of that, but that would be the easiest way to do it. Whether you go managed or self-managed, you can make the argument to go managed in year 1 to get the intro offer, and then in year number 2, I would imagine if you simply open an in-kind self-managed account, so let's say you had a managed Roth with them, then because you have to keep the money in there for a year for the promotional period for them to not claw it back, then in year number 2, you open up a self-managed Roth. I believe you could just move the money over. I've never done it like that. I don't see why you couldn't, and that would probably be your best way to go. Then just add products as you go. If you don't want to, if you're not someone who wants to shop around and find a mortgage lender with the best rate, you just want that 750 or 500 or whatever it is at your tier, then so be it. That stuff's kind of up to you. I think the big draw of this for many of us is going to be the credit cards. A lot of the stuff, if you shop around, you can probably find comparable pricing. There's more that goes into it than just, a refinance credit of 750, right? It's the rate, it's the fees, the other fees, things of that nature. So anyhow, that's how I would do it. What do I think about the overall program? Overall, I think they've learned from other banks, right? We've just seen, I'm not going to do a comparison now, but we've seen Bank of America downgrade their program. We've seen US Bank crash and burn. And of course, we have Robinhood. I think same with the brokerage account, putting the intro offer only in managed services, because the bank doesn't get that much, if anything, if we're doing self-managed, right? But that they want fees. And so the good news is I think this will have some staying power because they seem to have slightly course correct. It's not a requirement. Again, you can avoid the fee in the checking account. You can just do self-managed and it still counts. But they seem to have learned from what others have done, I want to say. And that to me is the difference. But overall, as a program, it seems fine. It's offered. They've applied the benefits to a wide range of products. It does make their credit cards fairly competitive. The one big downside is every time I've had PNC, they've been the worst user interface banking experience I've had by far. And I open 50 accounts a year. I've talked to some folks who say they're improved. I've talked to some people who said it's still terrible. I'm eligible to churn them again at the end of the year, so I guess I'll find out. But overall, there you go. I don't think it's a bad option to consider, especially if you can get to that 100,000 tier. I think that's where it gets interesting. So then, again, you're avoiding the wealth management fees. Presumably, it's in a brokerage because of the wealth management, and you're avoiding your checking account fees as well without having to do direct deposits over there and continue to use it if you don't want to. The credit card base one is 2.5%. That's going to be the best one you're going to get as a catch-all card. You can still make use of the green card for gas if you want, or you could just replace it with another option that's better depending on how far you are into the game. So overall, credit where credit is due to PNC. They're stepping up to compete. I do think it's worth your consideration. Again, go easy into it at the beginning, try it out, see if you can tolerate the user interface, make sure you can get approved for the products you want before you just go all in and move over. Again, I don't anticipate you having a problem if you're not someone who's like my core audience, in doing things of that nature where you're like, hey, I open 50 accounts a year, and I open 10 credit cards a year. You'll probably be fine. But there's going to be a wide range of people watching this video. So overall, sound off down below what you think about PNC. Which tier are you interested in? Which products are you interested in? Do you want that comparison video as well? I'd love to get your thoughts on all of it down below. Of course, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week. And of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And as mentioned, every single day over on profitablecontent.com, the channel's blog, link down below for it. We have news stories like this comes out. We have bank promotions like PNC offers, personal and business, so you might as well take them for all they're worth. And we have some credit card offers as well. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.